Let me just start recording. I think now it's recording is in place. Perfect. I think at least we're supposed to have two, because today I was looking forward to get into some practice, and both of you, I think, attended at least majority of webinars in the Headway lab. So I think you do remember at least some of the reframing patterns which we covered. But first of all, I would like to say a few words about the next one, which is number 8. So we already covered intention, redefine, consequence, chunk up, down, change frame sizes, analogy. And don't worry if you don't remember some of them, because when we will be practicing today, I think it will be explained. I will explain you again in case if you forget something. So no worries. Next one, which I would like to cover today, is gonna be another outcome. So let me just get my drawings ready. Right now, maybe it's not as important, but I would like. I've already used it. So that's the one we will be talking about today. Another outcome. And first of all, let's check the definition, what another outcome really is. And by the way, yeah, I mean, maybe I will use the same trick as I always do. What do you think? What kind of reframing pattern is? If that the pattern called another outcome. So I'm sure you can guess. Yeah? So try to formulate, what could it be? You know what reframing is, and when the pattern called another outcome, what potentially could it mean? Try to verbalize it and put it in words and somehow formulate it. If you would be guessing, what kind of reframing pattern is it? I'll give you 1 minute. And please don't worry if it's not really the case. If your statement or your definition is not exactly the one, it's not really as important. What else would you expect? Okay, that's interesting. Well, I mean, it's an interesting question. What else would you expect? Irene, any ideas? I think maybe lead client to evaluate different outcomes. Yeah, that's already closer, because what else would you expect? It's kind of, it's still, I think it's based on the same position, and the whole idea of reframing, we would like our client to be introduced with something which they do not consider. Yeah, I mean, for example, yeah, do you remember, it's interesting because Asama came with the, what else would you expect? Do you remember we already learned this one? I'm gonna show you. Do you remember that one? Oh, my tool is not working. Why? Let me see. I think now it. Do you remember this one? If person will remain or keep the same belief, there could be some consequences. Yeah, if he has certain particular belief, it will lead to certain, maybe several, but nevertheless certain consequences. Yeah, and when the consequences, for example, we are able to demonstrate negative ones, negative consequences, that's how we will usually bring that those, I would say, results which our person or client will have, if it's negative, and we will bring it into his consideration where he is heading. Usually that particular notion we can challenge the belief. Yeah, if we are talking about limiting beliefs. Yeah, for example, if someone has a positive one, and we could easily demonstrate that having this belief will lead to some positive consequences. Yeah? So we could reinforce the positive one, so it will strengthen. So that's the way how, for example, consequence pattern work. Yeah? Now we are talking about a little bit different things, outcome. Yeah. So let me just remove and let's see the definition, the way it was formulated by Robert Dilts. Let's see. We are going into the 8. Yeah. Another outcome, switching to a different goal than that addressed or implied by the belief, in order to challenge or reinforce. Reinforce when we need to, that when we need to enforce some positive ones, or like, for example, person wants to improve their confidence, or some kind of some stuff which we would like to make stronger. But in terms of limiting beliefs, usually we would like to make it weaker or destroy it, reframe it. So in this case, in order to challenge the relevancy of that particular belief, if we are talking about limiting one. So let's see some example. And here the example is, as usually we are working with the same one in order to see how exactly those patterns work. So for example, this example, someone has a belief, it's hard to make money. Yeah? And how we could use another outcome reframing pattern. Yeah. So for example, if someone thinks that it's hard to make money, what they have? Hard to make money means struggle, means effort, means difficulties. Yeah, it means lots of different things related to hard, struggle, efforts, difficulties. And if we would like to use another outcome, we could make an attempt to focus our client on a totally different things. Like for example, I would lead conversation with my client. Well, what actually the main purpose you make the money? And usually they make money in order to improve quality of life and so on and so on. And why would you need to improve quality of life? And so if you why you could ask, and you could arrive eventually to some feelings which people would like to be happier, more free, and so on and so on. So as a result, it really comes to enjoyment, pleasure, yeah, or doing what they love, and so on and so on. It's in mind of many people, the money will allow them to do that. That's actually another belief. So what if we right now start focusing them on that particular thing? If they want to live like this, what if they do it now? Yeah? So let's imagine that there is no need for money, just for a second. Yeah, you would probably do something which makes you feel good now. Yeah, what would it be? Can you imagine work which brings you full satisfaction, just being in the process? Yeah? So you see that we are switching. As a result, we are talking from money. We moved to the deeper, real kind of deep purpose of that, and then we slowly switched it. And as a result, now we are talking about being happy or having pleasure of, and as a result, we are it's like sleight of mouse. We are already talking about that particular goal, which is also goal. How we arrived to this new goal? We were just asking, and why do you need that? And what this is for? So through a number of questions, we are able to switch. So the goal is to feel good. So what would you do now to feel good? Is it possible to make money and at the same time already feel good? So we are talking about feeling good. And that's a change. It changes the whole game. Yeah, the person is not fixed on the money anymore, and we are talking about being happy. So slowly but surely we changed the whole frame. So we offered to our client, guys, another outcome. Yeah? Does it make sense how that pattern potentially could work? Could you please confirm if it does? Okay, yeah. So after that talk with your client, somehow client starts to feel differently, and yeah, before it was means to the end, some kind of money, and then you start digging to the deeper purpose of behind that money, and you arrived to the totally different goal, or so searching for different outcome. Well, that's what another outcome reframing pattern is. And again, as with all those reframing patterns, guys, it's quite relatively easy to explain what is it. Usually the problem is when you try to apply it, especially like naturally, when during simple conversations, when it becomes effortlessly, yeah, almost like, yeah, that's where the magic really comes. That's why those patterns called like sleight of mouse, meaning it's invisible. It's so you don't even realize how you are already reframed if you are working with a professional coach who mastered that reframing, conversational reframing patterns, which right now we are learning. Yeah. So let's do right now a little bit of exercise. Yeah? And what I would like to do is, because one of the things in my agenda today was to use that number of patterns which we learned as a system. And let me go back. So what I would like you to do is, yeah, so it's pretty much that one and plus number 8. Let me see if I can type here. I never tried to use, yeah, let's say number 8, which is just another outcome. Huh? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so now we have 8 patterns and it's just in front of you. So guys, when you look at that list of patterns, could you please, you could type me just numbers like 1, 4, 8, the ones which you do remember. Remember in terms of, you could explain me, what is it? Asama and Irene, could you please type just for me to know how, I mean, how many do you more or less recall? Because if it's just 1 or 2, maybe then I need to kind of repeat a little bit of material before we go to the next exercise. Because next exercise is going to be, I would like you to conduct coaching session with each other, trying to apply as many patterns as you can. So I'm not saying you strictly, okay, you do right now like intention reframing pattern. No, you are. It's gonna free coaching session. There is no need for strict rules here. But I would like you during that coaching session, in the order which you would like to proceed, somehow work with your client, having in mind that you are trying to apply some of the patterns. 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them. Yeah. It's up to you. Yeah. Okay, Irene, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 less. Yeah, so you do remember. Yeah, I understand. 6 change frame size. Well, yeah, as for the frame size, it's kind of, again, when you are switching to the global picture, which includes like a more number of people, one way or another, like you're increasing number of people involved, or you are talking about time, so you are kind of the size related to number of people or time. That's going to be change frame size, because that's a definition. It's related to time or number of people. But the idea is actually switching to the more global, like a bigger picture, or less. I mean, that's what size is. It could be going smaller, going more global. Yeah. And Asama, I don't see your numbers. Let me see if maybe I need to scroll. Iran, I see your numbers, but I don't see Asama's numbers. Asama, can you type? I mean, is your device allow you to type? Are you listening? Ah, you typed. Why I don't see it? Where the numbers are? Just a second. Iran, do you see the number? Where I see just Iran number. Ah, okay. Quickly review. Oh yeah, sorry. You typed. I will. Sorry, I'm looking for numbers. That's why I don't see it. It's good if we can review. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No problem. Well, um, intention is when person has certain particular limiting belief. Usually they don't realize that when it's formed, it's actually served some particular positive purpose. Usually it's completely forgotten. Usually people are looking at that limiting belief as something which they need to fight with. And by reminding, by searching and finding that particular positive purpose, actually it's changing the game. Because the person doesn't see that thing, that limiting belief, as something which they need to fight with. They see the positivity. And for amazing reason, when they're able to see it, it's reframing the whole thing. Somehow it's become different. It's changing its nature. It's become not so limiting anymore. I mean, that's kind of one of the paradoxes. So the intention to remember with Asama, with you, it's easy to even to recall, because when we investigated and we come to conclusion that your mother, for example, might be looking for, to have a hygienic kind of environment and keep family healthy, that was an intention of that kind of panic which she has when they see, I mean, when she saw some, insects, yeah, for example. I mean, that positive intention somehow, like, maybe that's why. And so it's changing the whole thing. Maybe your reaction will be not as, and you are not going to look at the same thing anymore the way you used to. So positive intention, that's how it works. And actually we could move from that positivity, we could move to the reframing, much more easier. Yeah, that's how intention. Redefine, when we are repeating exactly the same phrase, exactly the same limiting belief, changing just one particular tiny small word, the most hard, the harsh one, the most kind of difficult, like the core, the stiff core of the belief, usually it's one particular word. So you repeat the same phrase back to the client, switching that word for another one, the one which is softer, a little bit, a little bit softer, not too dramatically, but a little bit softer. So as a result, the person will eat back kind of the same phrase, and with tiny small nuance that the hard work already changed. So you're going to make your client immediately feel some kind of relief. So that's redefine. The consequence, the consequence, I already told you that when we are demonstrating where, if you keep that belief intact, so having the same belief, where it's going to lead you. And if you are able to demonstrate negative consequences, for example, do you remember with it's hard to make money? I was thinking, well, what bothers me is that if you have that belief, even if there will be some easier ways, you just will not be able to see it because you don't believe it's even exists. That's what bothers me. Because some people somehow able to do or to make money quite easily, but they need probably to have a different belief. So are you willing to keep that belief, or maybe you are open to shake a little bit and embrace some other opportunities? Yeah, that kind of talk. Yeah, for example, it's based on a demonstration of consequences. if you keep that belief, you're going to end up this way, obviously. And if that's kind of negative thing, our client will be much more open and willing to, to change. Chunk down, chunk up. Do you remember when we are switching for different categories? We were talking about, do you remember that the speech of Jesus Christ there when he said, when he switched adultery for the sin, and adultery, it's just a tiny small element of the bigger category of sin, how he did chunked up. And that's immediately changed the whole statement. And chunk down, so I think you remember chunk up, chunk down, because it's kind of obvious even by definition. It's obvious, in terms of idea. I'm not saying it's obvious in application. You need to permanently practice it. It doesn't come automatically. Some things come in easier, some things require regular practice in order to handle it. That's why we are here, to try. Yeah? Change frame size, I already mentioned for Irena, that when you're supposed to use bigger number of people or more time or less time. It depends on the subject which you would like to reframe. Analogy, analogy also quite obvious by the name. So you use some metaphor or analogy in order to demonstrate certain particular qualities of the of the frame, but analogy usually have another qualities as well. So as a result, using analogy, sometimes it's very easy to reframe, and because you could demonstrate certain particular features of the frame. Yeah? So as a result, reframing process could be accelerated using an analogy. Anyway, let's try. Let's try. Let's do it like this. Yeah, okay. Let's try first of all. Okay, maybe in order to make it really beneficial, I would put it this way. You will be working with me, and another person will be listening and trying to understand what kind of reframing pattern coach used. So one of you will be coach, one of you will be witness. Yeah, so you'll be registering and remembering what the coach does. Yeah, and then after we finish, it's going to be not a long one, but let's say, I don't know, 7-minute talk or 10 minutes talk maximum, not more. So I would like, let's say 7 minutes. Let's see what you can do in 7 minutes. At least you could make some attempts. And who would like to be a coach first? Okay, Asama, you are going to be coach. Yes. Okay. Perfect. You will be coach. Irene, you will be witness. So please, Irene, you could start. When we start, please watch the clock. And when, let's say, 7 minutes is over, you can switch on your microphone and stop us, because I don't want to look at the clock when I'm coached. I will be in a coachee kind of seat, and I want to be processing. I don't want to be kind of looking at clock. Yeah. So I'm gonna unmute you both. But Irene, you could mute yourself. Let me unmute Irene. Okay? Now you have your microphones ready. And Irene, you could mute yourself. So when we start, after 7 minutes, please let us know. You could unmute yourself and tell, okay, guys, let's say 1 minute. So, and then you will give some 1 more minute. So in total, it's going to be 8 minutes of coaching session. Okay? Okay. Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear Irene. I can hear Asama. Perfect. Very well.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe a little bit. Asama, maybe a little bit louder if it's possible. Can you say a few words?
Hello?
Oh yeah, now it's so much better. Okay, perfect. Now I can hear you very well. Yeah.
My lips almost they are inside the laptop now.
Okay.
I'm very close.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, no, maybe not. If
I'm
it's not
just kidding.
comfortable, if it's not comfortable, you could get back a little bit. No problem.
I'm very fine.
Yeah. Okay. I was just very excited to hear you so clearly. Okay. No problem.
Okay, it's very good. So
Yeah.
away from any introduction because of the time, but I take it for granted that you're allowing me to ask you questions
Yes.
and yeah. So what's there, Alex, that you would wish I coach you on?
Okay. So right now I have a issue related to
Mm-hmm.
overload. So I would like somehow in my mind, like I have that real notion that I have no time. I don't have time for everything what I really need to do. So that's my issue. I would like somehow your help as a coach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what do you want to achieve?
Uh, well, that would be nice to find the different way of thinking about that or different way of feeling, because right now
Mm-hmm.
my feeling is that I have a list, a to-do list, 25 things, for which require my attention, and I barely do, one third, and it's continue day after day after day. So I'm slightly feel like I'm some kind of donkey or that hamster in a wheel. So
Mm-hmm.
I would like right now to with you to find some way to feel differently or to find some kind of strategy or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you're looking for a strategy somehow, or looking at
Yeah,
it in a different way.
yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
exactly.
Where do you stand now from that objective?
Where do I stand now?
Hmm.
Uh, in terms of strategy, are you asking about my current strategy
Yeah.
or?
From the objective that you want to achieve, where are you now?
Well, so far, to be honest, if right now my objective is to find strategy which would allow me to feel at
Hmm.
ease. So I would
Hmm.
say so far I don't have that strategy. So far, the only strategy I have is
Hmm.
to do things efficiently, quickly, and as much as I can. So you see that I was aiming before for different type of strategy.
Hmm.
Not strategy to feel good, but strategy to do as much as I as I can. So
Hmm.
it's I think that particular task, that strategy, I do a lot, really a lot. It
Hmm.
just it's just not enough. Seems like all the time, and
Hmm.
that's what feels me makes me feel kind of not very happy.
Hmm. And how if things continue as they are?
Uh, how things continue as they are? Yeah, well, I feel that I really need to change something because I don't see any
Mhm,
end of that.
mhm,
I mean,
mhm,
I have like a five big projects, and I am barely right now moving three of them forward. So
mhm,
two others I just cannot even start. I know they're completely stuck because
mhm,
it's just overwhelming amount of work to do. Yeah.
mhm. And what blocks you from going ahead with your motive?
Uh, what blocks me?
Mhm,
I'm not sure. I mean, I think that actually the wish or desire to do many things,
mhm,
wish and desire to do like to run different projects and do things in many different directions. I don't know if it's block Yeah, kind of. Maybe that's the reason. I mean, it depends on what definition of block is, but I think it could be the reason that
Mm-hmm.
my wish for diversity, because I
Mm-hmm.
have I have interests in many different areas, and that's
Mm-hmm.
probably, I wouldn't say it's blocking. It's just maybe the reason why I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
spread a lot over the too many things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's the tendency to do more than a thing at once,
Yeah.
and the diversity of the things you're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
So it doesn't sound really like a block, but yeah, it's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
you could say that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What did you do so far?
You mean the project or the?
I mean to find that strategy of.
That's a point, because so far I was not really concerned with this, that with the strategy of relief. I was concerned with the strategy to do more and more and more. I mean, I was looking and implementing strategy to be effective, and I succeeded. I think, I developed certain strategy which allows me to do an enormous amount of kind of things during the day, and but it seems like, despite of that
Mm-hmm.
effectiveness,
Mm-hmm.
still the huge kind of area I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
covering of doing. So something, so as a result, I think that's why I'm thinking right now to search not for the strategy how to be more effective, but for the
Mm-hmm.
strategy how to feel at ease by not being able to do everything. That's a different thing. So I haven't searched for this particular strategy yet. It's my first
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So to feel at ease, you said of not
Be,
doing all at once.
yeah. Instead of being overwhelmed and slightly depressed of not being able to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Okay.
depressed, but kind of not super happy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
guys, the time
yeah.
is gone.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
7 minutes are nothing, I would say.
Yeah. One more minute, please. Yeah. In this case,
Sure.
Asama, you could wrap up the session.
Yeah. Did we reach anywhere?
Oh, please
Now
do
you
not
have
expect.
a feeling
Uh,
about it.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Don't worry. Don't worry. We do not expect in 7 minutes to
yeah,
reach anywhere. It's not a point. Yeah.
yeah. How do you feel about it now, Alex? With the new articulation, the thing is you want to feel at ease. Uh,
I think it's very nice that you said new articulation, because I think right now definitely the positive um result from our talk is that actually I was able to articulate exactly what I need. I need to
mm-hmm,
find the strategy to feel at ease while not being able to do everything I want. So
mm-hmm,
that's actually, I think it's quite precious thing, to be able to formulate what I want.
mm-hmm,
I think it's, when you formulate it correctly, I think it's already like partially the solution. I mean, it's the new goal is much more clear than it was in the beginning of the session. Yeah?
yeah. Mm-hmm,
So thank you, Asama. That was nice.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's listen to our witness, Irene. What you've been able to spot if Asama was kind of, doesn't matter successful or not, but he tried to apply some of the reframing patterns. If he was, yeah.
Um, I don't see that he tried to apply the reframing patterns. I observed that he investigate the reason
Mm-hmm.
and the meaning. And in the starting of coaching session, sure, it's good strategies, because you can't redefine or reframing before you know what exactly clients needs or wants.
Yeah, thank you. You're very diplomatic and polite. I appreciate it. But right now the exercise was not to investigate, even though I totally agree with you, because of course we need to investigate as thorough as possible. So what Asama did, that's what every coach would do, before to jump to reframing. But right now we are in a classroom where we are trying to apply reframing. So we need to jump straight to that and don't be concerned with investigation. So I would like you to practice some kind of reframing patterns. Asama, tell me please, in your mind, did you try to apply any kind of reframing patterns which you see right now on the screen?
Well, it's how you are programmed and wired. So it was not easy for me to jump without exploring reality.
Of course.
However, I had this in introducing the consequences when I asked how would it look if it continues like this. Although
Yes.
that was
Yes.
not in the proper occasion, because I felt what the hell I'm doing now of just asking this too early. But yeah, that was an attempt of using the consequence.
I agree with you. I remember that question.
Mhm.
I would phrase it just a little bit maybe differently, because I think for coachee would be like a little bit easier to understand. You would say, okay, what that overwhelmment, if you continue to be overwhelmed, where do you think you're gonna end up, and or where it's gonna lead you? I mean, that would be a little bit more clear, because your questions, it's almost the same. I understand as a coach what you mean, but it's more open. It's a little bit more. Yeah, it's very open, so I could go to any kind of direction. I was not even sure. Uh, like you say, where do you stand? It's like it's very open, almost like a Milton Erickson type of. I mean, you could put me in trance. You could hypnotize me with that kind of questions. So in this particular case, in our case, I would like you to be very precise, yeah, with your questions. If it's about consequence, I would ask, okay, Alex, you said you are overwhelmed, yeah? Okay, tell me please, if you continue that way, being overwhelmed, where do you think you're going to end up, or where it's going to lead you? Well, that's a very clear consequence reframing pattern.
Okay.
I would say, well, if I'm continue to be overwhelmed, to be honest, I mean, I just really, it's like my energy level really going down because I don't see any end in that kind of race. Yeah, I need to change, definitely. You see that? And when I answer that, you see that I already pronounced that I need to change. Yeah? It's immediately already starting to kind of shake the whole structure. And yeah, that's what, Irene, you missed the consequence. At least I agree with Asama. He was trying somehow to point into the consequence direction. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
but for me, as I agree with you that more clarity
Yes.
more clarity.
Yeah. It was general. It was a little bit more open,
Yes.
like a general question, and as a result, the client can go anyway, like in any direction. So it was like slightly. You need to tweak it, better. Okay. Anyway, so at least you tried, Asama. Thank you very much. Don't worry, because the whole idea is to try and try and try and practice, and then after a while you discover that actually it starts to work. But in the beginning, it's really tricky. It's not as easy. Theoretically, it's more or less clear, but when it comes to application, it's really it's an art of reframing. It's not as easy. Majority of people really don't even know what it is. I mean, they heard it, but very few people are skillful in really applying it. So that's why. So don't be harsh with yourself. It's not obvious kind of how to apply it. But that's what we are here Now, Asama, you're going to be witness. Please
Okay.
have your ears, very attuned. And Irene is going to be trying to, to apply some reframing patterns. And please remember her phrases. Maybe you could take a pen if you need it. You could write down something for your memory. And at 7 minutes, after 7 minutes, please stop us, and then we are going to have 1 more minute for Irene to finish.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
And Asama, you could mute your microphone in case if you make some noises, so we will not be disturbed. So and then
I brought a piece of paper and I'm trying to mute now.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, let's start.
Okay, Alex, you say that you feel that you have no time, or you don't have the time that you would like to have.
Yes.
Could you find a good reason why you feel this kind of feeling, distressful feeling? Is there something that you need to explore within you?
Well, when you ask that, like, what is the? Could you please repeat that? I just want to hear it again because it was a quite interesting question, but because it was quite long, I already forgot what was in the beginning.
The first time you say that you have this feeling to have not so much time that you would like to have, and I ask you if there is a good reason that you have this feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Good reason. That's what I was searching here, because I forgot that what you used. Good reason that why I feel that way. I think it's very really interesting, because I think when I feel overwhelmed, it means that for me it means that something is not really right, because I really would like to enjoy. I mean, I would like to feel good when I do things which I love, and believe me, I do things which I really love. None of the things which I do is like I hate it, or I do everything willingly. So that I think the good reason behind it is that it's like a sign that, Alex, you need to change something, because it's like a warning signal that you're supposed to enjoy it. So why you're overwhelmed? You do things which you enjoy. Overwhelming, that just give me some kind of warning that I need to change something, but I'm not sure exactly what to change. But that's what a good reason for that feeling being overwhelmed. Does it make sense, Ren?
Absolutely, and I see that you give a interesting redefinition of overwhelming. And could you find some word or other definition for overwhelming? You say one of it is that it's a signal that you need to change something. Exactly what you want to change.
Oh, no doubts. I want to change how I feel. I mean, that's because I supposed to feel joy and kind of being happy of doing what I love to do. And maybe I mean, I'm just guessing that maybe choosing words, because it's not like I do something wrong, but maybe my tactic or my strategy or maybe something, or procedure, there are certain elements of, I would say, okay, now I have a word. It's not what I do, it's how I do it. Maybe that brings me that feeling of overwhelmment, because what I do I'm totally happy with, but probably how I do things can be changed. and somehow probably my way of doing things, like how I do things, is not optimal. So as a result, it gives that strange feeling of overwhelmment. And definitely what I want to change and what I would like to have is the different feeling,
Yes.
state. Yeah, state.
And the way to work, because you say now that you want to change how to do the things. So if you change how you are doing things that you love, which the consequences you could imagine?
If I change, well,
Yes.
first of all, if I will be able to change, it means that I feel joy and satisfaction in the process, which means my energy level will, get higher and higher, which means, or it will lead to, the consequence of that would be that I will be more efficient, I will be faster, I will understand things quicker, I could come up with some creative solutions, because I honestly believe that the higher energy we have, the more creativity, speed, effectiveness, like the more powerful we are. So I think the like being overwhelmed or overwhelmed, it's not a really, I think it's kind of a little bit negative state. And for me, it means that I'm losing energy. So that's gonna be, if I find the way to change it and do things differently, I think that's the consequence would be really awesome, really cool in terms of energy.
Great.
Wait, what is funny?
That's the how in your voice I listen the energy.
Yes.
Arising.
Yeah, because I was imagining that consequence, if I gonna change, how it's gonna be.
Yes, absolutely. And if we try to see in a global way, so what else could change in your own life? It's not only in your job, but in your work, or what are you doing, but how could you expand these benefits, consequences, if you change how you are doing?
Well, no, to be honest, yeah, that's a really interesting question, because that strategy, how, I mean, it's really applicable, probably it's applicable not just to work environment, but applicable for other things.
Time is done.
Okay. So it's applicable to, thank you, Asama. It's applicable to other things. So I would guess, and also the thing which I improve, like for example, energy level, it's gonna influence all other areas, not just work related. So I could easily see how that particular area will spread over in a good way, or connect with other parts of the life. Yeah?
Yes.
Well done, Irene. Thank you very much. Thank you for session. Good. So, thank you, Asama. Thank you, Irene. Now let's listen to our witness,
the observer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. There were occasions were clear of using the techniques. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in sequence somehow, about the good reason, that is the intention, and then was this redefine, at least the beginning of redefining, where you have been asked to use a different word, but then as if the direction went somewhere to no clarity of the redefining. And then if you change, that was clear of the consequence, what will happen. And so this is my input now.
And Asama, when you spotted redefine, how do you remember exactly how Irene was using redefine button?
It was a question where you have been asked to change the word. This is how it started.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
Mhm.
uh-huh. Okay, and yeah, okay, that's and chunk down, chunk up. I think, well, yeah. Let's listen now. What Irene is gonna tell us. What Irene? Could you please reveal your strategy to me and to Osama? What did you do with me? Just tell the truth.
Disclose.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I start first with intention because I saw through all our sessions and with my own clients that somehow we judge too much our limiting belief, and good intention eliminate this judging and
Yeah,
arise energy.
yeah,
Redefinition, it's help brain to change patterns and oblige you to search new resources. So it's, I think, very good things. Consequences, I don't, because you talk about negative consequence with Osama, I try to put the attention on good consequences
yeah,
in
exactly.
your changing, and this make you think a lot of good and positive things, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that this night your unconscious mind will work in your service.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to change frame sides, chunk down, chunk up. I was not sure that was the moment, and the frame sides, it's too it's like anchor the positive feelings to arise your energy and let you look that positive consequence to have more time and more and go more and ease
Yeah.
in your working, could change in general your whole life, your, and maybe could help you for your two strategies that you are not finding right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Very nice, Irene. Thank you very much. And in terms of redefine, for example, usually when it comes to like a second one, redefine, what I would like you just to remember that as soon as the person will express his like a main concern or some kind of that statement which you will be working with, I would like immediately to get that statement back to him, as I told you, with changing just one word. Let's practice it right now. For example, I said, well, I feel that my day is filled with a number of things to do, and I feel overwhelmed, but not being able to do that all. Yeah. So how you would use a redefine button?
Oh, in this case,
Yeah.
I could change. I'm not able to do all the things,
Mhm.
and it's like I try to lead you to say, but not all. All.
Mhm, mhm,
For
mhm.
example, you are not. You cannot. That it's less a hard word or expression or not
Mhm,
able. It's like you are disabled to do some things,
mhm, mhm.
and you cannot in this moment do all these things.
Yeah, yeah. So at that moment you are not able, to do everything what you have in your list. But so is that it's almost the same. Exactly, it's almost the same, but not exactly the same. So you
Alex,
yeah.
it's dependent. Also, I used to pace the clients. With you, I could use some strategies more
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, 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 definitely.
different. But if I have another kind of clients, yes, the definition could be easier for
Yeah,
them.
yeah. No, right now we are practicing. Of course, I mean, I understand that with some clients, one things are more appropriate, more easier, or whatever. But right now we are just trying to use it all somehow. So in order to just to practice. Yeah. Okay, so is it more or less clear the whole system? Of course, we are not able to get precisely with the chunk down, chunk up, because you need to go for the categories. But we could practice again, for example, next webinar. And because I think to be able to smoothly, switch from one particular pattern to another pattern and jump from one, it's almost like a dancing. You see in front of you right now like 8 dancing movements. Yeah, you could create incredible dance, and it's you could go from 1 to 3 and so on, but you could jump, you could start with any particular pattern and then switch, and then just really create amazing conversation using many or all of them, or a majority of those reframing patterns. And session is going to be really awesome, when you are able to apply those patterns. It's very interesting conversation could be with your client. So we are going to practice next week also. Maybe we are going to add one more after another outcome. We are going to have, let me see what we will add. And then we continue again, continue to, you see that next one is going to be, oh, sorry, I need to, okay, this one. So next one is going to be the model of the world. So number 9. So we're going to add model of the world, and then we're going to start practicing again the whole system. So it's applying from 1 to 9. Yeah. Is it okay? Are you okay with the plan, Irene? Osama?
Absolutely.
Yes, this
Okay.
practice part is excellent.
Yeah, perfect. Osama, thank you very much, Irene. And I wish you a very nice, productive week, and we'll talk next Thursday then.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.